So, in the last Nintendo Direct, alongside the reveal of Cloud, we also got a confirmation that there was going to be a Smash Brothers broadcast in December. And then just yesterday, we got our official confirmation that it is going to be held on December 15th, so next Tuesday. And I decided I wanted to put together this little video just to kind of get in some last minute speculation. Feels like it's been forever since I've done a video speculating about Smash, so might as well do one more for old time's sake. Especially because if what the poster that we got for it is any indication, then this could very well be the end. It could be the end of Smash DLC. It could be, I don't know. But I guess that's just the best place to start off this video as any is. Um, do you guys think that this is going to be the last appearance of Smash Brothers in a direct, basically? Do you think this is the end of the new content? Um, or are you taking the wording on this quite literally and that this is just the last direct that is strictly dedicated to Smash Brothers? Now, there will be more content, but this is the last time Smash Brothers is going to get the sole focus in a direct. Um, Me personally, I'm kind of leaning towards the latter, and I have reasons for why I feel that this is not the end of Smash Brothers DLC content, but this is the last dedicated direct. I'm just going by what the wording on the poster here says quite literally. Catch the final video presentation dedicated to Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. I interpret this is the last time that Sakurai is going to address us and just cover all new content for Smash, and that it's not going to be any other games or anything else. It's just purely on Smash. I do still believe that in future Nintendo Directs next year, we could still get a trailer at the very end revealing a new character or something like we just got for Cloud. And the reason I think this is still possible is because it's mainly because of the ballot. The ballot supposedly ended back in October, and I say supposedly because the deadline for submissions came and went, and yet for a little while after, the ballot was still open. So it seemed like Nintendo had kind of forgotten that that was a thing for a while. We never got any official confirmation about when the ballot ended, but that's just the thing with the ballot in general, is that it was so vague. We learned so little about it. We know so very little about how it works, or what Nintendo is looking at here when they look at the votes and how they're tallying everything. There's been a lot of debate about whether or not the ballot is there's actually going to be winners and losers, or if this is just a suggestion box. There's so much about this that we just don't know for sure. But one thing I am pretty confident about when it comes to the ballot is that there's no way in hell they got whatever remaining characters they wanted to work on. There's no way in hell they got all of that done in 2 months. The ballot ended in October. We're a little through December, so it's a little under 2 months. There's no way in hell they went through millions of suggestions that were undoubtedly submitted, picked characters, and had time to fully develop them and make them ready to be shown off on Tuesday. There's just no way. I mean, look at Mewtwo. Uh, look at when we first got him teased, that they first revealed that he was going to be in the game, and then we didn't get him for several months after that. So the point I'm trying to make here is that I think it's possible that we may learn who the ballot quote unquote winners are, but they're not going to be available until probably for a while. We probably will get something like we got with Mewtwo, where they'll just show off their model and then they'll say, oh, this character is on the way and it was because of the ballot. I think that's pretty likely, but then I don't think those characters will be available until later next year. And by then we'll have a new Nintendo Direct, and then we'll get that character's trailer. So kind of getting back to my original point here is that I think that the presentation we're getting on Tuesday is just going to be the last one that's dedicated to Smash. And then after that, any mention of Smash is just going to be cut down into a regular Nintendo Direct. I don't think this is the end of Smash Brothers content. I don't think it's possible for them to have gotten all of the DLC they want to do and have it wrapped up and sent out in 2 months. I don't think that's possible at all. So, but this is Nintendo we're talking about. Their wording is always vague when it comes to stuff. When it comes to Smash Brothers in particular, the way they hint at things is always so vague. So I think that this little the wording here on the poster can be interpreted, different ways. But who knows? I could be completely wrong. Maybe they've been working on a lot more behind the scenes than we realized because there was a huge drought, you know, uh, after E3 and after Iwata's passing and everything, where we just got nothing but radio silence from Nintendo, just from all sides. That we got absolutely nothing for the longest time. No sort of big news or confirmation of anything, especially, and that was driving people crazy because that was when the ballot ended in October, and we got no word of how this was going to be implemented or what to expect from here on out. So I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Maybe this is, the end of Smash Brothers DLC content for this game. Maybe this is it. Whoever we're getting on Tuesday is going to be the last characters we get. Um, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm personally still advocating for this is the last dedicated Smash Brothers Direct, but it's not the end of DLC content in general. I don't think it's possible for them to be completely done with everything given their time frame and how much time has passed since we last got characters. So, but you're free to think whatever you want, and we'll find out. I'm sure Sakurai will elaborate on you know how much more we can expect for the game. So moving on from that, when it comes to actual characters and everything for the actual presentation, it's obviously a given we're going to see Cloud again. It specifically mentions here that we're going to learn more about Cloud. So we're probably get kind of an overview like we did with Ryu, where he's going to talk about the limit breaks and the Midgar stage and everything. Uh, if he has any alternate costumes or if there's anything special about Cloud, then we're probably going to hear about that. Probably going to get, more information about the Chocobo costumes that were teased at the end of his trailer. I think all of that is pretty much a given. Um, and then, of course, right after that, it says, and more. So I think I'm like 97% sure that means we're going to get more characters than Cloud. I think that at the very least, there's going to be someone else that's going to be shown off. Maybe there's more if we're lucky, but I think it's safe to say at the very minimum, we'll get one more character outside of Cloud. As for Cloud himself, I think I know a lot of people are pretty much on board with this, but I also agree. I think Cloud is going to be available after the presentation. I think he's going to be like Ryu and Roy and Lucas, where after the presentation, he's already up on the eShop and you can go download him. I will be surprised if Cloud's not ready yet when they officially show him off. I don't see why they would give him any sort of attention or focus if he's not done yet. That just wouldn't make sense to me. So, yeah, I think Cloud and the Midgar stage are probably going to be available. The Chocobo costume is probably going to be available. Um, and then, you know, sorry for the pause here, but I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. It's so funny when you think back at how the speculation for this Smash has turned out, because it seems like every time the community tries to come up with with some kind of arbitrary rule, or they try to look for some kind of pattern, um, it's instantly broken. I could go off and on about this, but what I'm trying to get at here is if we want to follow the last batch of DLC characters that we got, Ryu, Roy, and Lucas, then if that's anything to go by, if there's some kind of pattern here, then we should expect that there will be probably a veteran character, a cut veteran alongside Cloud. I'm not one to look for patterns. I'm not trying to advocate that that's a good practice, because as we've seen so far, every time you try to predict Sakurai or look for some kind of pattern, he throws a curveball. Every single time. It has yet to fail. Um, so I think it's pretty safe to say that we could get a veteran if it's another character, if there's another character. And, um, that's just based off if the last batch of characters is anything to go by. As for who the returning veteran could be, well, it might or might not be easier to to pin down than you think. So far, for all the cut characters from the past three games, the only characters we have yet to see come back are Young Link, Pichu, Ice Climbers, Squirtle, Ivysaur, Wolf, and Snake. But just kind of, going down the line here. Young Link and Pichu, I really don't think they're gonna come back. I know they do have their fans. They do. Every character has its fans. But the thing with Young Link and Pichu is people want them to come back because they were in previous games, because they were in Melee, and they want them to have new movesets. But as we've seen with Mewtwo and Lucas and Roy and even Ganondorf, Sakurai just doesn't want to change their movesets. He wants to keep them as we remember them in the games they first appeared in Smash Brothers. As in their first Smash Brothers appearance. So I think if Young Link and Pichu by some miracle do come back to Smash this time around, if they're revealed on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be just how they were in Melee because Sakurai doesn't want to change their movesets. So, but if that's the case, do we really want them back? I mean, from the majority of what people are saying is that we don't need them back, and I kind of agree with that. I don't feel like we need Young Link and Pichu back. So, Roy, it made sense. Apparently, he was really requested in Japan to come back, so that's whatever. But I just don't think Young Link or Pichu will come back. Ice Climbers. For a while, I was really advocating for they're not going to come back just because Sakurai can't get them to work on 3DS. And I still kind of believe that's the case. I don't think they're going to come back this time around at all because they aren't on the 3DS version. But then I took some time to think about it and look at how many things Sakurai has said in the past, how many kind of rules he's kind of set in place, and he's broken them. He's just broken so many of these little rules that he set in place in the entire course of when Smash 4 was announced up through release into DLC content. Remember when he said, "Oh, I can't put in an Animal Crossing character because Animal Crossing is too peaceful." Then we got Villager. And remember how he said, "Oh, the character must have ties to Nintendo for third parties." And then we just got Cloud. So what I'm trying to say here is that I think it is possible that Sakurai could break his rule of the character must be on both versions. Maybe he could. Is it likely? I don't think it's that likely, but I think there is still a small chance that he could decide ultimately that people really want Ice Climbers back, so maybe we should just bring them back even if it is only on Wii U. Or maybe he will develop them differently. Like maybe they'll be how they were in previous games on the Wii U version, but then on the 3DS version you can only use like Popo or Nana. You can only use one of them. I don't know. There's so many different ways they could implement them. Except obviously just putting both of them in together, and then putting them on Wii and 3DS because apparently 3DS version it doesn't work. Or maybe it does work. It's been a long time since he made that statement. So maybe Sakurai has tinkered with it some more, and maybe he did find a way to make them work, and he just hasn't revealed it yet. So, I just think Ice Climber fans maybe don't give up all hope just yet. Maybe there is still a chance. Maybe Sakurai could break his rule. Maybe he's not being totally honest with us about Ice Climbers. It's not over yet. So don't throw in the towel just yet. But then again, maybe I could be wrong about all of this. Maybe it's not Ice Climbers. I mean, I personally have no attachment to Ice Climbers. I never played as them. Hate to say it, but I didn't really care about it that much when they were gone. I didn't really miss them. But, anything is possible at this point. I think we should know that fully well by now. Anything is possible, especially after Cloud. Squirtle and Ivysaur. I'm pretty sure they're not going to come back. I think they mainly made sense being in Smash Brothers alongside Charizard. Transformations are gone. There's no sign of them really coming back or anything, so I don't think they would really work as their own separate characters. I personally would have no problem with it, but I just don't think they would work as separate characters because of just how many Pokemon characters we have already. We've got so many Pokemon characters already. Squirtle seems just a little bit irrelevant now that we have Greninja, just a little bit, but I really don't know at this point with them, because we thought for sure that we weren't going to get any more Fire Emblem characters, but then we got Roy strictly because he was a cut veteran. So even though we've got a lot of Pokemon characters, maybe it could be the same thing where we'll get one or even both of them back because they were cut veterans, and because transformations are gone, so the characters are separate. I really don't know. I don't think I'm a little more confident about Squirtle and Ivysaur than I am for Young Link and Pichu, but that's really not saying a whole lot. So, uh, I'll always advocate for Squirtle to come back to Smash, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if he doesn't come back. So, I've kind of moved on from that a little bit. So it is what it is. And then we have who is probably the most likely of any cut veteran to come back, and that's Wolf. I think if we are going to get one cut veteran out of all of these, it's going to be Wolf. He just makes sense to come back. Um, I don't know if he has been worked on, if they are putting him back in, and he has been developed and he's ready to be shown off. If they were planning to show him off earlier to coincide with Star Fox Zero's release, but then because Star Fox got pushed back, they decided not to release him. Maybe that is a possible theory I've been hearing thrown around, so maybe that's still possible. Or maybe they just wanted to hold him off towards the end. So I think Wolf definitely has a lot of merit to come back. I think Star Fox deserves to have its three characters, just like Ness got his partner back with Lucas. So I think it would just make sense to have alongside Cloud, our newcomer and our third party character, he is to Ryu, and then we'd have Wolf, who is pretty much our stand-in for what Lucas and Roy were last time. So I think if there's any cut veteran to come back, it's going to be Wolf. He's first party and everything. So there's really nothing holding him back except whether or not Sakurai just thinks he's worth it to bring back, which he might very well be worth it to bring back, considering how much outcry there has been since Wolf was cut. So, and then finally we have Snake. He's third party, Kojima and Konami. I don't really want to go into it. I know there's been a lot of controversy about all of that, so I don't know how much of that would affect Snake's chances of coming back. Maybe it has no effect. Maybe it has all the effect. I really don't know. But I personally would love to see Snake come back. I loved him in Brawl, and I think he would be, a really nice character to have back at the very end, to kind of end things off. We have a really hyped up character that was cut from Brawl, and it'd be really exciting to have him finally come back. So, and that would just make Smash Wii U even more of the greatest game ever than it ever was before. Because now we have Mario, Sonic, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Ryu, Cloud, and Snake all in the same game. I mean, come on, Smash Brothers is just the greatest game of all time after that. So let's just finish it off. Give us Snake already so we can solidify this installment of Smash as the greatest video game of all time. So I don't know, but yeah, I would love to see Snake come back. I just don't know what complications he has that are preventing him from coming back. I don't think anybody knows, so we'll wait and see. Maybe he is coming back and they were just saving him for the end, or maybe he isn't. So I really don't know. But regardless of whether or not there is a cut veteran coming back, there is a greater chance that we're probably going to get a new character or new characters, plural. I don't know how many new characters we're getting because we don't know how many characters we're going to get from the ballot, how much the ballot plays into the character development. So, at this moment, I'm just going to assume that there is going to be at least one new character, regardless of whether or not there's a cut veteran coming back. I think there's going to be one new character coming. As for who that could be, your guess is as good as mine. I've got a list here of characters that could potentially be revealed, but it doesn't even begin to cover how many characters are mentioned or brought up, from the ballot alone, from the Japanese polls that were gathered by Source Gaming. So, obviously, I'm going to be missing some characters, but I'm just going over the biggest names that I see the most being brought up and just kind of going over how I feel their chances stand now. This is just me personally. Feel free to agree or disagree. Whatever. It is what it is. But let's start off with the Inklings. Inklings are the ones I personally want to see. I think Inklings just make sense to come into Smash Brothers, after how big of an impact their game has made this year. It won Game of the Year for best multiplayer game. It beat out Call of Duty and Halo. That's saying something how big of this game is. It's a brand new IP. It's a brand new franchise that isn't represented in Smash, and it's a pretty big one at that. I hear if just from the way I interpret it, it seems like Splatoon is even bigger in Japan than it is, overseas. It seems like, Japan is getting all this, Splatoon merchandise and everything. Uh, it's a big thing over there. So I think it would just make sense. I think it would make a lot of the Japanese fans, the Japanese Smash Brothers fans happy if we got Inklings in, and it would make us over here in the West happy because we like Inklings, we like Splatoon. So the only thing I think that is keeping the Inklings from getting in that could stand in their way is how their ink mechanic is going to be implemented. Do they have some, is how every character that has come in, like the newcomers, have had some kind of gimmick to them? If the Inklings have some sort of territory covering gimmick, like with covering the stage with ink and everything, um, to get around faster as a squid, that's all well and good, and that they'd probably have no problems getting that to work on Wii U. But how would that work on 3DS? Because the 3DS isn't as powerful as a system. So I wonder if the 3DS could handle a mechanic like that. This is all hypothetical, but if this is a really intricate kind of character concept, then what if it doesn't work on the 3DS? Are we going to be in a similar situation with the Ice Climbers where where Sakurai gets them to work on Wii U but not on 3DS, and that's what keeps them out? I really don't know. We don't even know if Inklings are going to be in, and if they are going to be in, we don't know how they're going to work. So maybe they're just going to be really basic. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and their gimmick isn't going to be as complicated as I'm trying to make it out to be. So I don't know. But then a lot of people I see arguing against the Inklings, they argue that they would be better to be saved for Smash 5. And I can understand that, but at the same time, we don't know what the future. We don't know what the future of Splatoon is. Given its, critical and financial success, I think it's pretty safe to say that we will see more of Splatoon as a franchise. I think we probably will get a sequel, regardless. If it's on Wii U, it probably won't be at this point, or if it's going to be on NX or whatever. And I just think that it's going to be a little late to be adding them to Smash 5 because they're popular, they're relevant right now. Getting them in Smash Brothers after just one game would be a big deal right now, just like it was for Shulk and everything. So I think it'd just be better to have them now on Smash for Wii U, especially when they originated on the Wii U. It just and we don't even know for sure there is going to be a Smash 5. There probably will be, whether or not Sakurai is involved, but that's a whole different can of worms. But I just think there's really no sense in holding Inklings off from being in Smash Brothers that long because we don't know how far away Smash 5 could be. That could be at least 7 to 8 years from now. And do you really want to wait that long to get Inklings when we could just get them now for DLC? I personally advocate just to get them now, but I mean, I understand how people feel that they need to save some of their IPs that they haven't gotten represented in Smash for Smash 5, because if they're putting them all in as DLC in Smash 4, then there's really nothing to pull from when it comes to deciding the roster for Smash 5. So I can understand where people are coming from with that, but I just feel like Inklings, if they are going to be in, they should be in now in Smash 4. So they're the characters I'm really pushing for. I love Splatoon. I love them as characters. I'd love to see them and how they'd be implemented in Smash Brothers, but nothing's guaranteed yet. So Shovel Knight and Chante, I'm kind of grouping them together because my opinion on them is kind of the same. I am really indifferent towards these characters. I have not played Shovel Knight. I have not played any of Shantae's games, and this is kind of petty, but I really don't care to play either of their games at the moment. They're just not on my radar. So I really don't care if these characters get in or not. I'm not going to be upset if they do get in, but they're just not really going to be that hype for me if they do get in. I just don't really care about them. I'm not going to be really excited for them. But they're new characters, so I'm sure they'll be interesting as new characters if they get in. But me personally, I just don't really care for them. I'm not personally advocating for them, and there are other characters that I like to see before them, like Inklings. So, but a lot of people are talking about them. I'm sure a lot of people probably voted for them in the ballot. So we'll see if they get in. Good for the people who wanted them. We got an indie character in Smash. That's a thing. But me personally, I don't really care to see them. There are other characters I'd like to see before we got an indie character. King K. Rool. I would still love to see King K. Rool. Um, I think it'd be cool to see a character that so many people are talking about, that so many people are wanting, that Sakurai saved for last. It really doesn't seem like Sakurai wants to put him in, otherwise he would have been in by now. So I feel like if he does get in, it'll purely because the fans wanted him, which there's nothing really wrong with that. So um, I think if King K. Rool is going to be in this time as DLC because of the ballot or whatever, then I think he has a very good chance of being revealed, in this next upcoming presentation. So um, yeah, but otherwise, if he doesn't get in Smash 4, then I feel like the only way he'll ever be in Smash Brothers is if Sakurai isn't directing the game, because clearly Sakurai doesn't want to put him in himself if he isn't even getting in because of the ballot. So, um, yeah, but I mean, the thing with King K. Rool is that I kind of want, Tuesday's reveal to be a surprise. I want it to be someone that isn't really obvious, someone that wasn't, talked about a lot. King K. Rool makes sense, but a lot of people are talking about him, so he won't be that much of a surprise. It'll be great to have him in. It would really be nice to have him finally come to Smash Brothers, to get another Donkey Kong character and everything. But it's just he wouldn't really be that much of a surprise, and I'd rather kind of have the character revealed on Tuesday to be a surprise. And I just feel like King K. Rool really wouldn't fit that. So I don't know. I mean, I'd agree with his inclusion. I'd be happy to see him in finally, but I don't know. I'd rather have a surprise, and I feel like he wouldn't really be a surprise. But that really doesn't matter at all. It'd be more important to get him in Smash. And next we have Sora, and I'm only talking about his chances quite loosely because I have mentioned him in my previous videos about Smash Brothers, and I personally would like to see Sora get in Smash Brothers because I like the Kingdom Hearts games, and I think he could have an interesting move set. But um, I think the biggest problem with him getting in is whether or not Disney is okay with that, because I found this out uh, much later that he's actually owned by Disney. I mean, yeah, Square Enix developed him when they made Kingdom Hearts, but he's actually owned by Disney. So um, I feel like Nintendo would have to negotiate with Disney in order to get Sora in Smash Brothers. And I feel like in a mascot fighter, there are other characters Disney would want to represent themselves with before Sora. They'd probably want to put Mickey in, but then again, they don't want their mascot getting beat up. They've gone on record with saying that they don't want to depict their characters beating each other up. So Mickey wouldn't really make sense. I mean, he wouldn't make sense to be in Smash Brothers. He's their mascot, but Disney's not a video game company, so they make video games, but they're not strictly a video game company. Um, so I feel like if we were to get a Disney character, it'd be Mickey before Sora. But the only reason I still even talk about Sora, the only reason I give him a second thought, is because we got Cloud. So Cloud's inclusion pretty much is proof that at this point the character doesn't need to have the closest ties to Nintendo to get in Smash. And Sora has even greater ties to Nintendo than Cloud did, because more Kingdom Hearts games have been on Nintendo systems than Final Fantasy games starring Cloud. So, because Final Fantasy VII has yet to be on a Nintendo system, and I say yet because there is, that's fan speculation that Cloud's inclusion means that Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to NX, which who knows at this point. But yeah, personally, I'd love to see Sora. I don't feel that great about his chances. I feel like they'd have to go through Disney more than anything. But I'm pretty sure someone somewhere in an interview said for Disney that they want Mickey Mouse to meet up with Mario at some point. So you never know. You can never be too sure with this stuff. It'd be surprising to say the least. Oh God, I really don't want to talk about this next one. Okay, so remember the big announcement they just revealed for Wii U, and it's just Minecraft? For some reason, a lot of people are now advocating to get Steve from Minecraft in Smash. And I'm just sitting here thinking, what? Why do you want Steve? I get it. Minecraft is huge. It is insanely huge. It's popular. That'd be a lot of attention for Nintendo to get the mascot from Minecraft in Smash. But do you really want Steve? Do we really want Steve in Smash Brothers? I personally don't. I mean, I don't care for Minecraft. I haven't really played it, but I don't care to play it. I would not care for Steve as a character at all. I personally don't really want to see him in, but it's just no. I don't see the point. I don't see the reasoning behind why we should get Steve in Smash Brothers just because Minecraft is on Wii U. Might I remind you that Wii U is the last platform to get Minecraft? It's been on literally everything else before Wii U. So I really don't see the argument for Steve here. I feel like Steve would be like one of the few characters that I would legitimately not want to see in Smash. There are a bunch of characters I wouldn't want to see. Steve is one of them. So I just please God no. Please Sakurai no. Don't give us Steve. We don't need Steve. There are other characters that we could put in before Steve. If you're gonna put in like kind of a strictly Microsoft sort of character, give us Banjo Kazooie before Steve, please. Um, okay. Next one. Okay. I'm gonna open up this can of worms again. Ridley. The only reason I'm bringing up Ridley is because if this is the end of Smash Brothers DLC for Smash 4, wouldn't it be? Isn't it possible that Sakurai's been teasing us? If he is going to put in Ridley, if he's been tricking us and he actually has been putting him in, how great would that be if he saved him for the final reveal? He's the very last character to be added for Smash Brothers. That would be pretty hype. Do I think it's likely? Not in the slightest, but there's still always that, playing devil's advocate here. So I think Ridley would be huge and no pun intended for Smash Brothers, but I just don't know. I hate to kind of twist Sakurai's words because he's given his reasonings for why he hasn't put in Ridley as a playable character yet. But I don't know if he's been tricking us or if he's been honest. I hate to twist his words like that, but I don't know. I feel like at this point personally, if we are ever going to get Ridley in Smash Brothers, then we're going to have to get a new director first because at this point I don't feel like Sakurai ever wants to put in Ridley. So I feel like if we're going to get Ridley, it's going to be because Smash has a new director and that new director saw potential in Ridley as a playable character. But I feel like as long as Sakurai's in charge, we're not going to get Ridley. But, playing devil's advocate here for the Ridley fans out there that are still clamoring for him to get in. We may have lost the battle, but the war is not over yet. So, yeah, all that good stuff. Um, okay, and one last character I wanted to bring up is Banjo Kazooie. I feel like they would be a really amazing character to be saving for last. They may be a Microsoft character now. We'd have our Sony character with Cloud, our Microsoft character with Banjo Kazooie, but they were previously like the closest with Nintendo as possible. We know when Rare was working with Nintendo, they'd have a great moveset. This has been discussed to death. Banjo Kazooie would make sense as characters. Phil Spencer has said he's on board with the idea of Banjo Kazooie being in Smash. So I feel like if Cloud could get in when he had so little ties to Nintendo, strictly because Sakurai worked out a deal with Square Enix, then I feel like there's pretty much nothing holding back Banjo Kazooie when Sakurai could just easily, negotiate his way, work his magic to get them in the game as well. I think they'd be really amazing characters to save for last. It'd be great to kind of have these old characters, reuniting with their roots, coming back to Nintendo. I think that'd be really awesome. Whether or not that's likely, I really can't say. Can't really say about that, about really with anything here, but I just think they'd be a really great character to be saving for last. They'd be really exciting to see come into Smash Brothers. So those are just the characters that, off the top of my head, I think of when I think of characters that could still make it back, that could still make it into Smash. There, like I said before, there are like dozens of others that I didn't even mention here. We'd be here forever if I were to list them all off. But those are just the ones that I can think of. It really could be any of them at this point. I think all bets are off. Anybody could be in. We have no idea what Sakurai's planning, so we just have no choice but to wait and see. Or who knows? I would prefer not this to be the case, but maybe we won't get anyone other than Cloud and a cut veteran. Maybe we won't even get a cut veteran. I hate to be a pessimist. I would really not like that for that. I would really not like for that to be the case, but I really don't know. So they have to have been working on something. I don't think that's possible. I think we are going to get at least one new character in addition to Cloud. But if you think back to the previous back before E3 when we had the dedicated video about Smash when Sakurai was revealing Roy and Ryu, and he's talking about Ryu, and he talked about other stuff besides characters. That was when we got our first glimpse of the new line of amiibo of the remaining characters, and we also got our glimpse of the Peach's Castle and Hyrule Castle 64 stages. But those were in the works. I think it could be possible we could see something other than characters. We could see, maybe we'll get our first look at the amiibo for the DLC characters that we have left. Maybe we'll get our first look at the Roy and the Ryu amiibo. It might be too early to see the Cloud one. We've already seen the Lucas one. We know that one's coming very soon, actually. But maybe we'll get our first look at the amiibo. Maybe we're getting more DLC stages that are coming later, which would help my point that this isn't the end of Smash DLC. Maybe we'll get something else next year, like maybe we'll finally get Poke Floats or Fountain of Dreams or Saffron City from Smash 64. There's still a lot of potential left to get more stages. I know Sakurai said that he doesn't think they can put in too many more stages, but Sakurai says a lot of things, so you can never be too sure with this guy. I think it'd be cool if we got at least a teaser of one more new stage coming, because Midgar is going to be awesome. I'm sure it's going to be awesome, but I think it'd be cool if we got, at least one more returning stage. Preferably one of the ones that's been talked about a lot that the fans are really wanting. We got Pirate Ship back, and that's really cool because a lot of people were talking about that one. But oh my God, if we could get Poke Floats and Fountain of Dreams back, that would be just amazing. Because we've been getting a lot of N64 stages coming back. We have a lot of Brawl stages already. We don't have a whole lot of Melee stages, so I feel like there's still maybe one or two that Sakurai could pull from Melee. And those are just the two big ones that come to mind. And before you say Fountain of Dreams can't be in because the song is on the Kirby 64 stage, look at the Mario Maker stage. It has literally every single Mario song that has been in Smash Brothers that's in Smash Wii U and 3DS. Every song is on that stage, so you can put the song on more than one stage. That argument really doesn't work anymore. So they could still bring back Fountain of Dreams, even though the music is already in the game on a separate stage. So it's still possible. Keep the dream alive. Yeah, but aside from characters and stages, do you guys think it could be possible? I'm just kind of bringing this up hypothetically, that we could see something else that's not character or stage related coming into the game, at the very end of the Smash DLC. My voice is dying here. What if we got, some kind of new mode or something, or one of the modes is getting some kind of update? What if they're going back and updating the tournament mode to give us the option to put in the rule sets that we want? Because, a lot of people were really disappointed by tournament mode and how the rule sets worked and everything and how they were implemented. So what if we get some kind of, announcement on Tuesday that they're going back and they're updating some of these modes, to give us more options, to give us more of what we want. Or maybe they're going to go and update one of the other single player modes. Like maybe we'll get more event matches as DLC or something. Just something other than characters or stages to extend the longevity of the game. I think that would be really fantastic. Or because we've just been, up until this point, we've pretty much just been getting characters, stages, and Mii costumes. But what if all this time since the release of the game up until now, what if they've been working on some kind of mode for Smash Wii U and 3DS or something? Probably on Smash Wii U, but I don't want to say that it's possible we could get like an adventure mode or something, because that might be a bit too big. But I don't know. I think I want to be kind of optimistic here. What if we get something that's really huge, that's maybe not quite on the scale of Subspace Emissary, but we get some kind of substantial update to the single player modes, to the one player modes, and get some kind of new mode? I think that would be fantastic. I think that would just be a really great way to kind of round off the Smash DLC. If they've been working on it for a while, but it's still not quite ready yet, but they're going to tease it, and then we would get it sometime next year alongside other characters or something. I think that would just be a perfect way to end Smash DLC. Besides any one character or any one stage, is to get one final new mode, to enjoy, for the rest of the years for Smash to come. Um, but yeah, that's just what I think. Maybe we won't get something like that. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but you never know at this point. So okay, I'm probably going to have to wrap this up now. Oh God, this discussion's 40 minutes. This was way longer than I wanted it to be, but there's still a lot left to talk about, with Smash. And I still got a couple of video ideas to make about Smash, talking about Smash, even though the game is over a year old now. So I hope you look forward to those. I'm kind of excited to work on them. Of course, I'm obviously excited for Tuesday. I'm really excited to see what we're going to get. At this point, I can't really feel disappointed because I've gotten what I wanted out of Smash and more already. So I'm just along for the ride. I'm just curious to see what we're going to get, what's going to become of the ballot, um, and what is the future for Smash DLC. Is this the end? Are we going to not get any more content after Tuesday, or is this just the last? Like I'm believing it is. Is this just the last dedicated Smash Brothers Direct? And there still will be mentions of Smash in other Nintendo Directs, but this is the last time that Smash is going to get the spotlight. So, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what Sakurai says on Tuesday. So, obviously, I'm going to be recording my reactions to whatever happens because I have a feeling it's gonna be fantastic. So, looking forward to it. Leave your thoughts down below on any of this stuff. Let's get some last minute speculation and predictions in. And yeah. So that's all I have to say for now. This has been Brawlmaster 012 signing off.